Welcome to Instant Deck Techs. The aim of this series is to give you a short, concise guide on how to build a certain deck. It won't cover every card, but we'll go through all the categories and go over the types of cards you need to make the deck work. All the cards listed will be down in the description below. The commander of this deck is Obeka, Brute Chronologist. She is 1 blue, black, red for a 3/4 legendary creature ogre wizard. She has the activated ability, the player whose turn it is may end the turn. The aim of the deck is to cheat cards into play and have them stick around longer than they should by using Obeka's activated ability, so any end of turn effects don't happen. As a lot of these effects involve things coming back from the graveyard, there will be a reanimator sub-theme as well. There are 3 types of ways we can cheat things into play, either from hands, from graveyards, or through tokens. I would run as many of these as possible. The best option from our hand is Sneak Attack, as with Obeka it effectively turns the CMC of all our creatures in our hands to be 1 red. The other 2 is less good, as Ilharg has to attack to get a trigger, and Purphoros limits you to only sneaking in red and artifact creatures. There's a lot more options when it comes from the graveyard, and this is where most of the abuse with this deck will come from. All these cards allow us to either cheat or play cards from our graveyard. The cost for this is reduced by the fact that normally there's the downside of them going at the end of turn. However, with Obeka, that no longer exists. The token enablers don't care where the creature comes from, either from our hand or from the graveyard, so these are all really good in the deck. Flameshadow Conjuring in particular, as it's 1 red to copy any of your creatures. There is also combo potential with a lot of these cards, which we'll get into at the end of the deck tech. We will primarily want creatures with big enter the battlefield effects. These will vary depending on your budget, but look for big swingy effects that scale well in Commander. Things that let you steal stuff from each opponent, things that reanimate your spells, things that draw you cards or tutor up cards are all really good in this slot. And generally speaking, you will want them to have a high power and toughness so they can swing through for the win as well. For the card draw package for this deck, look for things that draw you cards as well as put things into the graveyard. As we are running some cards that take advantage of our opponent's graveyards as well, Windfall, Jace's Archivist and Magus of the Wheel have additional value here. There is more card draw as well that synergizes with our commander. Psychic Vortex especially will draw us a ton of cards, and we'll never have to discard our hand to any of these unless we actually want to. For removal, I would also look for things that are attached to creatures, so that we get added flexibility when we bring things back from the graveyard. However, I would also consider running Life's Finale. As we can steal stuff from our opponent's graveyards, this is effectively a tutor spell for us. Outside of these, you can also run any other good bits of spot removal in our colours. As we are red and black, we shouldn't be short on options. In total, you want about 4 bits of spot removal and 4 board wipes. Having some extra graveyard matter effects will help with the game plan, and will allow us to have some more explosive plays. Consider cards that tutor to the graveyard or reanimate them.
Wonder and Anger are good budget includes. Wonder gives our team evasion, and Anger lets our creatures attack the turn they come in. It also means we can activate Obeka straight away. You can also run cards with Unearth or Encore effects in this slot as well. As we're not in green, we want to run the best artifact ramp available to us. We want 8 bits in total, and I would recommend making sure at least half of this, if not more, makes coloured mana, as after all we are a 3-coloured deck. Signets and Talismans will do great work here. You can also consider Milliken and Derange Assistant, as they ramp us as well as put cards into our graveyard. Once people see what our commander will do, they will try to kill it. It's therefore very important to protect Obeka with equipment or counterspells. I'd recommend running at least 3 to 4 of these, but maybe more dependent on your meta. This is a deck that revolves around the commander, so we'll also run Sundial of the Infinite for some added redundancy. It's also worth mentioning that our commander works really well with cards like Final Fortune and Phage the Untouchable, as we can activate Obeka's ability in response to the lose the game abilities to stop them from happening. There are some cards we want to run because they are very good in the deck. Kiki-Jiki and Twinflame, for example, also combo with Zealous Conscripts and Dualcaster Mage respectively. Run these if this is the kind of thing you like. If you're going down a more competitive route, add more tutors and cheap interaction. If you have spare slots, you could also consider running cards that make the most of the big ETB effects we have in the deck. As we're a 3-colour deck, we don't have too many slots for utility lands that don't tap for a colour of mana. I wouldn't run more than 3 to 4 in the deck. We can still run a Bojuka Bog and a Mystic Sanctuary, however, as they still tap for a colour of mana. The rest of the mana base will be dependent on your budget. Look out for a video soon on this channel covering budget commander mana bases. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and please let us know if there's any decks you'd like to see made in the future.